Hello. Welcome to my very first standing observation. A standing observation where I talk about, what have I noticed? What's going on in the world? How has the week been? I love the idea of noticing, nourishing, and nurturing. So they're kind of three focuses I spend a lot of time on, and I'm really interested in just noticing. I'm very curious about humans, I'm curious about their behaviour. I'm curious about why do people do the stuff they do. I'm constantly watching people to the point that, my kids go, "Mum, you're staring. Mum, stop it." And I'm like, I'm just fascinated by how fucking bizarre humans are. It's a really interesting thing to just have as a hobby, is to watch humans. I think I saw a thing online about a bird watching society. I think I might start a human watching society. I think a human watching society where you just watch humans. I watched some humans this week, and part of my observing, I was in an airport, people behaving badly. So that whole security bullshit at an airport is so funny, because when you travel a lot, like I do, you know the rule. You take your belt off, you put your shoes in the thing, you remove heavy jewellery, your laptop comes out. I have 46 fucking trays because I have so much shit, because I'm a maximalist and I have a lot of stuff. And I often watch people on planes. I watch some guy, ahead of me, puts his wallet and his phone into the tray, goes through. I think, wow, how simple was your life? Wallet, phone. You're done, mate. That's it. I'm like, holy shit. Why haven't you got an iPad, a laptop, 46 pens, like all the shit, a drink bottle? Oh my God. No, he's a very simple person. I think I'd quite like to be a simple person, but I don't know if it's possible for me, not in this lifetime. Just don't think that's going to happen. Anywho, so I'm at the airport and I'm watching all these people, and, there's people arguing with the guy on the security desk, like, "Oh, why do I have to get my laptop out? Oh, why do I have to take my shoes off? Oh, for fuck's..." I'm like, mate, just do as you're told. Like, this poor guy behind the desk, he just wants to go home. I noticed that there are signs in the airports now saying, "Please be kind to our staff." And I'm like, when did the world get so messed up that we have to have a banner reminding people not to be arseholes? Like, what is that about? And I think the fuckery of the last, few years, people's angst is so high. And ever since we went through the pandemic and we all got sort of locked up and fucked up, and oh my God, like, it's been a lot. And I don't think people have recovered. I think people have gone from being locked up and isolated and not able to do the things they want. They've then gone into, oh my God, I've got to get on with my life and make everything happen. They've thrown themselves into things. They never recovered from the pandemic. They've now thrown themselves back out into the world, trying to be normal, trying to book holidays, trying to connect with people they haven't seen for a long time. The pressure of connect, normal, yes, yay, no, do we wear a mask, don't wear a mask, what the fuck? Think about everything. It's been a lot. And I think we haven't recovered. And I've found this year incredibly difficult. And I know a lot of people around me have found it difficult. It's just been a lot. So people are carrying a lot. People are dealing with a lot. So I'm noticing that, and I'm really, like I say, I'm surprised that we now have to have announcements in airports and banners to tell people just to be nice. Like, it was a given that you were nice. Back in the day, I can say that now I'm old. Back in the day, we were just nice. So that was what we did. And I think it's important that we be nice. Kindness costs nothing. And I think if I can just leave a situation better than I found it, I'm winning. I often think that when I go somewhere, how can I just make this person's day a bit better, or leave it the same? But I certainly don't want to be the reason someone has a bad day. So I think if everyone used that lens, that would be very helpful, because everyone's doing the best. Everyone's doing their best with what they've got. And I think if we can all just be kind, I think kindness, it seems a little bit kind of, people say, oh, that's a bit trite. Be kind. I'm like, no, seriously though, kindness rocks. Kindness rocks. Just be gentle. Be kind. I work on the theory that everyone in the world has something really difficult going on. And I think if we work on that theory, we're much nicer. So what if everyone you met had something difficult going on? Imagine that. I love that. I love the idea of, wow, what's hard for you? As a human, what's hard for you right now? And every one of us has something hard going on. And I think acknowledging that and accepting that and expecting that helps us to be a bit more gentle with ourselves, more gentle with other people. I think being gentle is a lovely idea. I like the idea of nurturing, and I think putting energy into ourselves and into people is one of the most important things we can do. And I think our energy is everything. I bang on about energy all the time, but I think nurturing ourselves is so important, which leads me to part of my standing observation is recommending things that I'm noticing, recommending things that I'm enjoying. And something I'm absolutely loving is a new book out by a guy called Nick Beats. And Nick is a clinical psychologist and relationship counsellor who I've had the pleasure of attending some retreats with. I got to know Nick and his beautiful wife, and we hung out in the Coromandel at some hippie retreats, and he's just such a divine human. He's got a very magnetic presence. He's very beautiful. And when I sort of first met him, I was like, wow, you're extraordinary. You're extraordinary. He's a really beautiful man. And I just love him. I think he's extraordinary. His wife, Verity, is also extraordinary, also a relationship counsellor. Now, Nick has been talking for a while about putting out a book, and he's finally released this book. It's by being published with Allen and Unwin, and it's called Make Love Work. And it's a practical guide to relationship success, and it's fucking brilliant. So it's a really good book. And, should I be married forever? And I think all relationships need work. And I think as you go through, like we're currently in this sort of like, shit, the kids are leaving. What are we doing? What do we want to do? What does the next bit of life look like? And what do you want? And what do I want? And is what we want the same? Like, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. And for those of you who are in that space, you'll know what I'm talking about. But this book is really good. So, Mark and I have both got a copy, and we're reading it together, not together, cheesy, sitting up in bed like something off a bad movie, reading aloud to each other, not that sort of shit, but we're just going, right, chapter 1, then let's have a meeting. And it's great. I've got a book, and I love scribbling. It took me a long time to be okay with scribbling in a book. So I'm scribbling in my book. I'm putting notes in it. I'm making notes to talk to Mark about things. I'm underlying shit that he does that annoys me. I'm underlying shit that I do that I'm just checking if that's okay with him. There's a quiz in the beginning, which is quite interesting, with 17 questions about, how you feel about relationships and what do you know about relationships. And often the only relationship you have to base anything on is your parents' relationship, and that might have been fucked up. It may not have been very good, might have been amazing. I don't know. I think there's a problem with relationships that we're not honest about them, because if I complain about my relationship to someone, I'm being disloyal to Mark. So that is a problem. And I think so we don't complain, we just suck shit up. And then you see people just sitting in obligation and stuck and resenting each other and not enjoying each other and not sort of growing or changing. And I'm obsessed with change. I love the idea of changing. And I'm like, right, what do we look like? What do I look like? I'm a different human now than when I had 4 children under 5. I'm a different person, and I want my relationships to move with me. So I'm really interested in the fluidity of relationships and what they look like. So this book, Make Love Work, is something that I highly recommend if you're looking for something. So that's been my favourite book of this week. My favourite energy has definitely been being kind. I think that's been a big thing. And I've been nourishing myself. My current favourite obsession is Brazil nuts. I'm living for Brazil nuts. I'm all the selenium, very important. And so I have 5 Brazil nuts every day. It's my new thing. Love them. Love a good crunchy Brazil nut. So I reckon you should, if you're interested in relationships, read Nick's book. It is unbelievable. It's only just recently come out. You can get it everywhere. You should get some Brazil nuts and just be kind. Be kind out there. Thanks for listening to my observation. I'll see you next week. Bye.